That just might happen.
With me involved, anything's possible.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. This is Tony with Blacktop Magazine, and we got...
Jerzy, Greg Majorana.
So here we are, Benchracing with Jerzy and T-Bone.
Yep.
So, well, Craig, you know we finished the Fairlane.
Yes.
Project Riff Raff.
The Project Riff Raff with a little stumble towards the end.
Yep. Yeah.
little rough edge.
I tell you, the one thing I learned about that, though, was that by having a near tragedy, I don't want to call it a tragedy because it didn't actually burn down, but with a near tragedy, when I went back to working on it, I found my edge of confidence.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like all the while we were doing it, I felt really confident. Hey, we're doing the right thing. A great instruction with you, and good help from Ron Francis.
Thank you.
But then when I got back to it, knowing that what we're doing can be dangerous if you don't.
Yeah, electrical is seriously not to be taken lightly. It's easy to do once you jump in, but even when I do them, I'm still unconfident of the things I do. I always double, triple, and quadruple check because in my head I'm like, well, what did I screw up? Right. I'm not thinking about, oh great, look how good it looks and how far along I am. I'm like, what could go wrong? And you kind of always have to be like, what could go wrong?
Well, I kind of appreciate you not giving me that kind of hints while we were working, because I would have been all nervous doing the whole thing.
No,
and probably still working on it.
Right.
When I went back to it, though, I was really working differently. Like you said, you're double checking everything.
Yeah.
I wrapped that ignition switch housing. And then I almost didn't want to finish it.
And look at the cause of the whole tragedy, too, was something so minute and so stupid. And in the long run could have caused a lot more damage than it did.
Yes, yeah.
You know, so it pays to double, triple, and always be unsure. Always know that you got to know. You got to make sure.
Right.
You're dealing with $100,000 car sometimes.
Yeah.
And you don't want to burn it down.
No. Or my house.
Or that too. That's the inherent danger.
Yes. So it's running great now.
That's good.
And it's nice and strong. I took it out to Irwindale, their first Friday night drags. It's a 10-second car. Okay, it's an 8 mile. 72 miles an hour.
Hey, listen, you Civic guys, watch out. He's prowling the streets of Orange County coming for you.
That's right. You tuners, be careful.
I mean stock. I'm not just no.
Right. Because I saw a Geo Metro the other day that I really wanted to hammer. But
Listen, I got a
all
buddy.
3 cylinders.
I got a buddy who's got a Yugo.
No way.
He's looking for a match race.
Okay, tell him to meet me at the track. So, where did you hit lately?
We went to the O'Reilly Street Machine.
Oh yeah, Street Machine Muscle Car Nationals.
Yeah.
And what'd you think of that?
I had fun. I have fun at that show every year because it integrates a lot more of the modern stuff. I don't mind LS motors. I don't mind LS powered classics. I don't mind Coyote powered classics. Right. I think it's the next step in hot rodding. It's how it's going to go. They're reliable motors. You might as well use them.
Yeah.
And you can drain the horsepower out of these things. So I thought it was a good show.
Right. Well, I know we had fun at that show a couple of years back.
Yes.
In this thing. So, I'll put a link to the video.
Autocrossing in a stock suspension 56 Fairlane is something I recommend for anybody with just a lap belt.
Yeah, and I do think I ran part of my rim on the asphalt at the front rim.
Not to mention power steering fluid everywhere.
Yeah. But before that was the Grand National Roadster Show.
Yes.
That's the granddaddy of them all, right?
And for me, it is, since I've been in California, I've missed it 1 year, and I regret missing it that 1 year because it is my show. I love it to death. To be there for 2 days, like this year, thanks to Bobby Kimbrough, I got in for 2 days, and it was amazing. It was amazing. You get to see anything and everything in the hot rodding world is at that show. If you missed it, then it's on you.
And you went on, was it Thursday or Friday?
I went on Friday. And then back with my wife on Saturday.
Okay. And Friday, that's a great day to go because it's not as crowded.
And it was cool because they had a little ceremony at the museum and they reintroduced, I can't think of the name of the car off the top of my head, but it was a land speed car built by Barris.
Oh. By George Barris? A land speed car?
Yeah. I believe Barris had a hand in it. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head.
Well, we'll look it up and I'll put the type underneath on the video or something. Yeah, look right here. So, And then, of course, there's the Amber Award, and a good friend of mine, or I'd say a friend of mine I met on Facebook, and then through the industry, Don Linsfors had his 32 Ford truck.
The orange
there.
one.
Yeah, reddish orange,
Yes.
Santini paint, I believe, on that. That was, he debuted at SEMA in their Pertronics and Doug's Headers booth, and I was really hoping for him on that. Home built, right here in orange.
Yep.
And then there was another guy, I'm spacing his name, you'll see it on the bottom of the screen, that had that yellow 60s roadster.
Yellow 60s style roadster with we actually spoke to him, and he said Art Himsel painted the car.
Oh man!
And
nice
this car literally stepped at a 1959, and he could have been a serious contender. And there was another car too. It was the pickup, the baby blue pickup with the Oldsmobile motor in it.
Yeah.
You could eat off this truck. This was another one. It was a high contender.
Right.
Any other time, this truck seriously would have won.
Was that a home built truck?
I believe it might have been.
Yeah. And then we know who won. What was it? A Packard?
Yes,
Something
it was
like
a
that?
Packard.
And a $1 million car, from what
Yeah.
they're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you see, this is where I'm probably going to get myself in trouble. But back in the day, the guys that built the Amber Winter cars, man, these cars were, granted, they were ahead of their time, but they were custom. They were done by the guys that entered them into the show. They weren't $1 million paycheck cars, as I call them.
Right.
I'm not taking anything away from that car.
Mhm.
That car was downright gorgeous.
No doubt.
But the home built guys didn't stand a chance against it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just sour grapes, granted, whatever. But that, I think, to build $1 million car for a $10,000 check, when there's other guys that really should have taken, could have and would have taken it if that car wasn't in there. But whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Take it as it is. I'm not being disrespectful, but I just think the lines have been blurred a little bit as far as what really classifies.
Yeah. And we hear the same thing with the Riddler Award, too.
Yeah.
They're $1 million cars now. And so, I mean, one of the things I'm really trying to work towards is getting more awareness of bringing younger generations into this industry.
Right.
And when you see cars like that win, that is so far above where they can even think to achieve.
What we could touch.
Yeah. Are
and
they
it's not
disillusioned by the industry?
And at the same time, I don't want it to seem like I'm throwing shade, but it was always about the builders and the guys that put their blood and sweat into these cars. They were the ones that took home the trophy, not some builder that you paid and then you get a trophy also.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was. I just think it's silly to build $1 million car when there's other guys that really could have won it,
Right.
and should have won it. And I think in the long run, what I'd like to see is maybe different classes. Mm-hmm. These guys want to build $1 million cars. That's fine. Then we'll push them for best, I don't know, shop built car, best full blown custom. You got to start breaking it down if that's how it's going to be.
I think about. I mean, we both know guys that have, well into hundreds or $200,000 cars
easily.
And a lot of times they're not after the trophies because hey, they know it's like the trophy to them doesn't mean as much as the guy who built it themselves and had it built
granted,
for
their
it,
first one does.
Yeah, they do like
any of these guys that have a couple 100,000. When they get that first trophy or the first 2 or 3, they're content.
Yeah.
And that's why they built these cars, because they want the hardware that goes in the garage where they display these cars.
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Mm-hmm. I guess what I'm getting at too is that, like you said, it's a $10,000 check. A guy who put $1 million in a car, $10,000 is like pennies.
Right.
But to a guy who home built it in his garage,
right,
that $10,000 can go a long way.
Right.
Of, in the hobby.
And I feel like the kid with the Dodge, and the one that had Art Himsel paint the car. That was when you look at the definition of an Amber. That was the car. That car followed everything. It could have won back in '59 and '60.
Right.
And I feel like it's kind of lost the tradition and the backbone of it.
Yeah.
When we start throwing $1 million cars at this, granted the trophy is part of the whole thing, but
it's I just. Another little point on this whole subject, and we can move on, is that what inspires you when you look at a car that was made for $1 million compared to a car that's made in a guy's garage? And that's what I'm looking at, is the inspiration I get from these cars and these people building the cars.
And I think of it as the kids going to the car shows, saying, "Daddy, I love that car. Oh, well, that car cost $1 million, son." And then he sees the car that the kid built in his garage, and if you actually, chances are, you're speaking to the owner, you're speaking to the builder. Mm-hmm. It lights a fire under these kids. Yeah. It really does. I think that more so than the $1 million car.
Yeah.
It blurs the lines of what true hot rodding is.
That inventiveness.
Right. The creativeness.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's next for you, and where are you heading off to next?
Next, a couple concerts. We're gonna go see the Blackest of the Black tour, or a festival, I guess. It's Danzig, Ministry, Devil Driver, or Suicidal, which I'm gonna miss because they're the day before, and I gotta work.
Okay. What's it called?
Blackest of the Black.
And where's
Fest.
that at?
It's gonna be at Silverado Canyon.
Oh man, I love it out there.
I've never been out there, so it's gonna be interesting.
What's the name of the venue? Is it at a park, so it's outdoors, or?
Yeah, it's outdoors.
Okay.
It's kind of like the same setup as, I guess, Glen Helen.
Okay.
But a little bit closer to us.
Oh, so that'll probably be behind Irvine Lake. They have those private parks. And
yeah, suppose from what my wife said, it's all brand new. We went to see Anthrax and Lamb of God at the Palladium about a year or so ago.
Lamb of God.
Yeah, a heavy band from Virginia.
Uh-huh.
They're kind of old school style. And I was feeling my oats, little Anthrax from '87. Caught in the Mosh came on, and I caught the beat, man. I went to go swing and throw down, and my wife stepped in my way because she thought I was having a seizure, and I accidentally punched her in the mouth. She took it.
Yeah.
She took
good
it.
for her. What a good girl.
But the 6 guys that saw me do it thought that I did it intentionally and tried to kick my ass.
Oh man.
She had to say, "Whoa,
and
no,
I'm sure,
it's my
I was
husband."
gonna say, I'm sure she's stuck in there.
No, it was a good thing we went there. We weren't arguing, so she didn't say, "Go ahead." And that's another thing too. You're in California and you see classic cars. Give them a break. These cars, a lot of these cars don't stop like new cars. Cut them some slack, man.
Right. That's a good point. Because not all the upgrades to those big brake systems you see on TV all the time.
But you get these people that want to cut somebody off, and they cut off a classic car, and then guy rear ends you. Well, guess what? It's not his fault, really. It's your fault. Right. Understand what you're doing.
Yeah, and bikes too.
Bikes too, definitely.
Yeah.
Because you guys can split lanes out here, which
yeah,
it's a little sketchy for me. I'm not a biker, but
right. Yeah.
You guys come blasting up in between lanes.
You know what though? When I ride, and I'm going in between the cars, I feel like I'm surfing. It takes me back to surfing. You got the wave coming around.
I don't know how you do it.
So you just hammer through, and it kind of pushes you through.
It scares me. So.
Well, I don't have a street bike where I got the wheel in the air going between the cars.
I've had Harleys split lanes on the 5.
Oh, yeah, we'll do it. But that's the next thing we're doing is that bike right there. Get that 80 shovel head back together, and Ron Canberra Speed Shop's going to help us out with that. But it's about 80% complete, so we need to finish it off, and then it's going to get auctioned off, and the money goes to the American Diabetes Association.
Yeah, definitely a good cause.
Yeah.
Not all hot rodders are scumbags, we do give back.
Yeah, we do sometimes.
Yeah. And I'm not calling anybody else a scumbag either before you start with the hate mail.
Right. Oh, yeah, we get the hate mail.
Unless you want to mail me hate mail anyway. I'd take mail in any form.
Sure. All right, well, thanks for coming over.
Always a pleasure.
Appreciate it, man. And so, again, Tony with Blacktop Magazine. Be sure to subscribe to Blacktop TV on YouTube and even our newsletter and all. And catch Jerzy here as Jerzy Goon. Is there another number in there? Just Jerzy?
No, that's not Jerzy Space Goon on Instagram. It's car stuff, offensive stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
But listen, if you follow me, I told you it's offensive stuff.
Right.
There's no crying after.
Right. No, it's all fun.
Once you go down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, no, I haven't found my way back up. All right. All right, great. Well, thanks for coming out again.
Definitely, brother.
All right.
Hi, my name is Marisol. You've been watching Blacktop TV.